swans get their common name from their trumpet-like voices. Here's an example of what they sound like. Trumpeter swans are closely related to hooper swans, and some scientists believe that these two birds should be classified as the same species. For the purposes of this episode, we'll be discussing them as separate species. In comparison to hooper swans, trumpeter swans almost never have a yellow spot on their bills, and their bills form more of a V shape on their foreheads. Trumpeter swans are endemic to North America, meaning they are both native to North America and only found in North America. Depending on the time of year, these swans inhabit marshes, ice-free rivers, forest lakes, brackish water estuaries, and more. In general, they need about 100 yards of open water from which to take off for flight. Trumpeter swans migrate southward for the winter in family groups numbering 2 to 25 individuals. In spring, they'll return to nesting grounds for the breeding season. Trumpeter swans remain with the same partner until one of the pair dies. A female will lay 4 to 6 eggs and spend just over a month incubating them. The male may help with incubation duties, but the female is believed to do most of the work. The hatchlings are able to swim within their first day of life, but they'll continue to return to the nest during the night or when it becomes too cold. It takes about 3 to 4 months before they begin to fly. In the wild, trumpeter swans may live to be more than 20 years old. Their first few weeks of life, trumpeter swans may eat a good portion of aquatic insects and crustaceans, but within a few weeks, they are almost entirely eating a plant-based diet of aquatic vegetation. Trumpeter swans pull up plants from the bottom of shallow waterways, or dabble to reach deeper foliage. In the winter, these birds may take more terrestrial plants, such as berries. Ostriches are also called camel birds because they are similar to camels. Not only do they have a long neck and big eyes, they can survive without water, at least as long as they have access to vegetation. Currently, there are 2 described ostrich species, and they live in Central and Southern Africa. Their former range covered more ground and included southwestern Asia, but these birds were hunted extensively for their feathers, which were used in fashion. If they can't find water, their food may provide moisture, though they can't live off this indefinitely. Ostriches are mostly herbivorous, eating seeds, grasses, flowers, and other plant materials. But they'll also take small lizards, insects, and animal remains left behind by predators. Other predators to ostriches include hyenas, cheetahs, African wild dogs, and leopards. These animals may target adults, but they'll also go for young and eggs too. Ostriches lay the largest eggs of any living animal. An ostrich egg equates to about 24 chicken eggs. Lays similarly sized eggs. Ostriches live in groups with a dominant male and female, along with a few subordinate ladies. The male may breed with all of the females, and they will all lay their eggs in a community nest. Each female may lay upwards of 10 eggs, and there may be as many as 5 females in a group, so the community nest may contain 50 eggs. These are incubated by day by the females, though usually the dominant female will take over nesting duties and kick the others out. At night, the male takes over incubation duties. Adult male and female ostriches can be differentiated by feather color. The boy Vultures have a bad reputation. They hang out around dead things, and people seem to think that's strange. In truth, vultures are exceptionally important to our lives on this planet. There are 2 groups of vultures, those found in the Americas, and those found throughout Africa, Asia, and Europe. These 2 groups are similar in their appearance and behavior, though they aren't considered closely related to one another. Both groups are scavenging birds of prey, meaning they both eat a lot of the same kinds of foods. Vultures, however, also have some pretty discernible differences. All of the 16 vulture species found throughout Asia, Africa, and Europe have the common name vulture. However, some of the 7 vulture species found in the Americas have the common name condor. Just know they don't all have this common name. Some condors have a good sense of smell, while other vultures do not. No Eastern Hemisphere vultures use smell to locate food, and instead rely on sight, while Western Hemisphere condors use either smell or sight. Another way condors help with heat regulation involves them defecating on themselves, an act that vultures from the Eastern Hemisphere don't perform. Condors are also unable to produce noises apart from hisses and grunts. These birds don't have voice boxes. East vultures are long-lived, slow-developing birds. It may take 2 years for a vulture pair to raise a single chick, and they can live decades if left alone. Sometimes vultures are referred to as buzzards, but this is erroneous as buzzards are a type of hawk and vultures are, well, vultures. The great blue heron is sometimes mistakenly called a crane, but there are distinct differences between the two. Herons tend to have longer necks and beaks, and will hold their necks in an S shape while flying. Cranes hold their necks out straight while flying. Great blue herons are also sometimes called egrets. Technically, egrets are a type of heron, so it's not completely incorrect, but usually this is in reference to a different species. The great egret looks a lot like the white color morph of great blue herons, but great egrets have darker legs and don't have that fluffy chest plumage. We'll talk about this more later on in the episode. Great blue herons are the largest herons in North America. They can grow to be over 4 feet tall and have wingspans that average 6 feet. In weight, they can reach 7 pounds. That tall, slender figure gives them access to deeper water, giving these birds an advantage over other birds sharing their habitats. Great blue heron habitats include desert creeks to tropical bays. These birds are highly adaptable and can live just about anywhere there is water and food. They're found mostly in North and Central America, but they can be spotted in South America and parts of Europe. They usually live near slow-moving or still water, typically staying within a 30-mile radius of this prime hunting location. Great blue herons eat fish, frogs, snakes, salamanders, insects, rodents, and even other birds. The young herons fledge, or are able to fly, when they are around 60 days old and leave their nest within another 30 days. They usually live to be about 15 years old in the wild, though one individual was recorded to be over 24 years of age. Their legs and beak are usually a soft orange or gray color, and their wings have light undersides. One subspecies of great blue heron found in Florida and Caribbean saltwater habitats sports white plumage, making it easily mistaken for an egret. People sometimes
The name marabou stork is in reference to a specific part of these birds' bodies. Do you know which part? If you've ever wondered what these are, you're in luck because we're talking about them today. Marabou storks reach 4 feet tall when standing straight up and have wingspans of almost 9 feet. Marabou storks use these large wings to soar over African savannas. These birds live in sub-Saharan Africa in open, arid places and just about anywhere there is water. So while they aren't commonly found in dense forests, they may live in forests if there's water around. At night, marabou storks rest in trees. A marabou stork's foot-long beak is used for grabbing small animals as well as picking up pieces of dead flesh. These birds are not vultures, but they're like vultures in that they're a part of the African savannas cleanup crew. They do, however, have bald heads like vultures. Marabou storks begin mating around 4 years of age, but they don't mate every year. They generally remain monogamous, sticking with the same partner throughout subsequent breeding seasons. Though there's always that chance they'll wander. Yes, like the hot, flaming kind of fire. Small animals will flee from fire, and the marabou storks will stand on the edge of the fire to make a meal out of this opportunity. It's a little diabolical. Marabou storks are also known as the undertaker birds because their macabre appearance and their proclivity to hanging out around dead things. Though marabou storks are big, they're also quite shy. Their feathers, however, are quite light and fluffy, and it's from their rump feathers these storks get their name.